morning, everyone. So I think I have to go fast because Abu has taken my time, and I unfortunately I have to catch a plane. Immediately after this, I have to go. So okay, I'm I'm gonna share our experiences in using drones in our protected area. So we are actually new in using this kind of technology. So um, I'm sure that everyone are familiar with this image. This is a U.S. military drone, or UAV, and we always see this in news. It's being deployed in war zones around the world, equipped with high-tech sensors, and some are equipped with missile, so that they don't just do surveillance, but they can also destroy any military targets. But this is not the one that we are using. Well, we I wish we have one of these, but I'm going to talk about a different kind of drone, specifically a conservation drone. So this is what we have in our inventory. Um, Two kinds of drone, a fixed wing and a multirotor drone. So you might think that this is just an ordinary hobby grade remote control aircraft. Well, as a matter of fact, it is. That's the whole idea of having a conservation drone. It's a commercially available, off-the-shelf remote control aircraft. Oh, okay. Okay, so what is actually a conservation drone? It is a low-cost unmanned aerial vehicle that being used for conservation applications such as surveying wildlife, monitoring and mapping wildlife habitat, and also act as an eye in the sky for ground enforcement staff in protected areas. So these are the basic things that a conservation drone can do. So even though it's a hobby grade remote control airplane, but it is with certain component. The drone is capable of doing autonomous flight. So you can have a flight time to up to 30 minutes, depends on the weather condition, the payload, and it is also able to acquire high resolution image and video depending on the payload. So okay, these two researchers are the one who came up with the idea of using remote control airplane as a conservation drone, and they actually came up with this idea in 2011 to do survey or to do research on orangutan, and and after 1 year of designing and they have finally come up with a prototype, and they have flown it in Sumatra to survey orangutan nests. So since then, it has been sorry. So since then, it's been applied in all over the countries, such as in Indonesia, even in here in Malaysia, in Sabah, in Nepal, and also in Perak, in Temenggong Forest Reserve, to study the habitat use of elephant. So in 2013, our top management from the department has been invited to the Nottingham University campus in Semenyih. So I can see Nagu smiling. So we have a demonstration on the application of drone in Nottingham, and since then we have collaborated with Nottingham to do project, especially on elephant habitat movement and habitat use by using drone. So why do we choose or use drones? Because if you look at, there's so many benefits and advantages for us to use drone, especially in the management of protected areas. Okay, one is it is very flexible, because a drone can be launched on demand, unlike any other survey, depending on the use of aircraft and helicopters. We can launch it anytime we need the information, and so we don't have to source or book aircraft services, or even to commission and wait for satellite imagery, because if you have the experience working with satellite imagery, normally you will have to wait for certain period to get the cloud-free coverage that you need. So by using drone, you can simply launch it wherever there's a place for, as long as there's a place for the aircraft to land. If you use the fixed wing type, but if you use multi-rotor, you can even launch it from the top of your car. So this is the among the benefit of using drone, and it provides near real-time images, because you can simply launch the drone, fly over the area that you want to survey, and then after landing, you can immediately retrieve all the data and use the information. And it is also highly efficient. Unlike traditional surveying techniques and method, using drone is fast, and it requires minimal staff. As you can see here, this is Abu. Even just like in Asia tagline, now everyone can fly, even Abu. Okay, so if you're using this kind of drone, multi-rotor type, you can launch it almost anywhere. So using this approach also can overcome site access issues, such as impenetrable vegetation. So it's easy because in certain areas where there's a certain amount of vegetation, you have to send people to clear the area before you can actually access the site. But using drone, you can simply launch it and fly to the targeted area. Okay, drone being small and electric powered, so it's discrete because as you can see from this is actually still from a video captured using a drone. As you can see here, there's an eagle trying to check our drone. So because drone, especially the fixed wing type, they are often from the ground. You can, when you look at them, they are often bird shaped. So they don't disturb animals or even poachers. If we trying to monitor them, they will not notice that they are being watched from above. Okay, application, we use drone to monitor our protected area. As you can see here, this is Sungai Dusun. We can monitor land use changes outside, and we can also see here there's an TNB power line, and you can clearly see the boundary of the reserve here. This is different vegetation. This is all plantation. Okay. So in Kelantan, we use drone to monitor the illegal activity along the river, and we also use drone to make sure that fishing are only being done in the zone that is allowed for fishing. So by using drone, we don't have to send people to by boat to patrol the area. We can simply launch the drone from the park headquarters to fly along the river and transmit back the video to the operator at the office. Okay, this is Sungai Lebih. Also in Taman Negara Kelantan, and this is Paya Indah. We use drone to monitor the water level. Okay, we also use drone to monitor erosion. So like here in Sungai Relau Pahang, this is the jeep track, and you can see here it's dangerous for our staff to assess the slope here. So we use drone to capture image to assess the damage. Okay, drone were also used for project planning purposes. For instance, in Sungai Relau, Pahang, we are planning to build a new treetop, so we use drone to identify the alignment of the treetop walk. Okay, earlier this year during the dry spell, there's a forest fire in Crow Wildlife Reserve, so drone was used to monitor and track the spread of forest fire. And images from drone also help the firefighters to access the site, because as you can see here, it's quite far from the road, and there's no access, so we use drone to identify where is the best and the fastest route to get to the site. Okay, we also use images from drone to do land use or land cover mapping. Okay, so in order for drone or the normal remote control aircraft to be able to capture all those images, we need to have components such as the flight controller. So this is the brain of the drone, and we also attach a sensor. In this case, it's a video camera, and also a normal digital camera as the payload, and finally the software, so that we can plan our mission and also use it to monitor the flight information during the mission. So this is the software. It is free, open source. So we use it to plan the mission. So like, for instance, this is the waypoint that we want the drone to go, and this is the flight path. Okay, this is using the software, we can plan our mission according to our needs. For instance, just a few waypoints to monitor a certain part of the protected area, and like in Kelantan, we can plot our waypoints along the river for survey or monitoring purposes, and for mapping purposes, we plan the flight path in a lawnmower pattern, and we can also put the waypoint along the boundary so that the drone will fly along the protected area boundary. Okay. During the mission, we can also use the software to monitor the flight information, such as the direction of the drone, the speed, the altitude, and all other important parameters that we need to monitor. Okay, so this is the software for Multirotor. It's basically the same as APM just now, but the only difference is you can have a live video here, so you can actually see from the drone point of view. Okay, this is the workflow. Prior to the mission, we plan the mission through the software, and then we make sure that everything is in working order before we launch the drone, and the drone will start flying according to the waypoints that we have set here, and then once it's landed, we'll check again to make sure that there's nothing damaged during the landing, and then we retrieve the camera, download the images, and do the data analysis to produce the end product. Okay, this is a short video on how we use a drone. I hope that it can play. Oops. Okay. So it'll automatically climb up to the altitude that we have entered into the software. Go to the waypoints that we
5, altitude is 301, ground speed is 10.
Then it'll come back automatically after the end of the mission. Land. And then retrieve the camera and download all the images. So that's why, even though it's a hobby grade remote control plane, but it served the purpose very well. So once we got the images, we'll do image processing to produce the end product such as this. So normally it'll come in individual images. We have to stitch it to have the to make it as a mosaic, then do a georeferencing so that we can use it in GIS software or any other remote sensing software to do classification, and finally came up with the map. You can with certain software we can also produce the 3D surface model or the digital elevation model. Okay, so we are very fortunate to have a project support, because we have conducted two training actually, because it's so easy to fly the drone. 2 training is all it needs so far, and these are all stuff from protected areas that has never been that has never have any experience in flying a remote control aircraft, but it's only 1 week, 7 days training, and they are able to fly the drone. So there's classroom training they are using before they are allowed to fly the real drone. We train them through flight simulator. And finally, practical using the real drone. So I guess that's it. That's the end of my slide. So thank you.